at the ragged edge of the Imperium, where reality itself is torn open and the veil between dimensions bleeds raw madness. There exists a wound in space, known as the It is not merely a warp storm. It is a scar left by cosmic violence, a howling vortex of unreality that devours fleets, twists time, and whispers promises to those bold or foolish enough to listen. Within its churning madness lies the Badab sector, a region that once stood proud beneath the aquila of the Imperium of Man. But pride, in the galaxy of Warhammer 40,000, is the first step toward damnation. Long before the Maelstrom became a pirate kingdom, before it was a throne of stolen fleets and broken oaths, it was a responsibility, a burden placed upon the shoulders of a Space Marine chapter tasked with guarding one of the most unstable regions of Imperial space. That chapter was the Astral Claws. Their master was a warrior of brilliance and iron will, Luft Huron. Huron was not born a monster. He was forged as all Adeptus Astartes are forged through gene seed, indoctrination, and relentless war. He believed in order. He believed in strength, and above all, he believed that weakness, whether in flesh, spirit, or governance, invited annihilation. The Badab sector was vulnerable, isolated, constantly threatened by Xenos raiders, by heretics, by the predations of the warp itself. Reinforcements from Terra were slow. Resources were stretched thin. Bureaucrats who had never seen a battlefield dictated policy from unimaginable distances. So, Huron made a decision. If the Imperium would not protect the Badab sector properly, he would. At first, his defiance was subtle. He withheld genocide tides. He expanded recruitment beyond what was permitted by the Codex Astartes, that sacred tome penned by the Primarch Roboute Guilliman 10,000 years earlier. He fortified worlds. He consolidated power. To his supporters, he was a severe guardian who understood that survival required strength unshackled by distant dogma. But to Terra, he was something else. He was a threat. The Imperium does not tolerate deviation, no matter how logical it may seem. It does not reward autonomy. It demands obedience. And when Huron's refusal hardened into open defiance, the spark became an inferno. Thus began the Badab War, conflict, not against alien horrors or demonic incursions, but brother against brother. Space Marines turned their bolters upon fellow Astartes. Oaths shattered. Chapters chose sides. The very warriors created to defend humanity now drowned sectors in their own blood. The tragedy of the Badab War was not merely its scale, but its familiarity. This had happened before, 10,000 years earlier, during the Horus Heresy. Ambition and mistrust had nearly destroyed the Imperium entirely. The echoes of that ancient betrayal reverberated through every bolt shell fired in Badab space. Huron did not name himself War Master. He did not kneel to the ruinous powers at the war's outset. But rebellion, once embraced, has gravity. It pulls, it corrupts, it isolates. The Imperium responded with overwhelming force. Loyalist chapters descended upon the sector in righteous fury. Siege followed siege. World followed world in flames. And at the heart of it all stood Huron, defiant even as the walls closed in. In the end, he was not slain. He was broken, his body shattered by melta fire and blade, his empire collapsing around him. Huron was dragged from the ruins of his ambitions by those still loyal to him. They fled into the Maelstrom itself, the very storm they had once sworn to contain. There, within that howling abyss, something changed. The Maelstrom does not simply hide fugitives. It transforms them. Warp energies seep into metal and marrow. Time fractures. Reality bends. And in that crucible of madness, Luft Huron died. What emerged was Huron Blackheart, Tyrant of the Red Corsairs. The Red Corsairs were not a legion born of ancient treachery. They were something more insidious. They were a gathering of the bitter, the renegade, the disillusioned, Space Marines who had lost faith. Chapters shattered by misfortune. Pirates seeking protection beneath a banner strong enough to defy the Imperium. Huron offered them purpose. He offered them vengeance. He offered them freedom from the suffocating strictures of Guilliman's Codex, and in the lawless dark of the Maelstrom, That was enough. Yet the Maelstrom is not an empty kingdom waiting for conquest. It is a crossroads of predators. Among them are the Eldarian ancient species whose empire once spanned the stars when humanity still crawled in the mud of old Earth. Their fall birthed a chaos god. Their arrogance shattered reality. Now they drift upon craft worlds, vast starfaring sanctuaries carrying the remnants of a dying civilization. One such craft world is Yun, and from Eondon rose a figure as proud and unyielding as Huron himself. Prince Yrel's story is not one of simple heroism. He was once exiled, his strategies deemed reckless, his pride intolerable. Like Huron, he turned to the life of a corsair, commanding swift raids along the galaxy's fringes. He tasted independence. He carved his legend in void battles and lightning strikes, where Imperial admirals relied on mass and endurance. Yrel relied on precision and speed. He struck like a scalpel, not a hammer. But fate is rarely content to let legends drift. When High Fleet Kraken descended upon Eondon, bringing with it the apocalyptic hunger of the Tyranids, the craft world faced extinction, desperation, forced reconciliation. Yrel returned not as an exile, but as a savior. In the crucible of that invasion, he took up the Spear of Twilight, an ancient weapon bound with a terrible curse. It granted him the power to slay monstrosities beyond mortal capability. But each life it claimed fed something unseen, something waiting. Victory came at a cost. Eondon survived but barely. Its halls echoed with the silence of the dead. Its people diminished further. And Yrel, once more a hero, bore a weapon that whispered of inevitable doom. Now consider this. On one side, Huron Blackheart renegade, space marine, master of a pirate empire, sustained by hatred and ambition. On Teother Prince, Yrel cursed champion of a fading race, driven by duty and the desperate need to ensure his people's survival. Both command fleets that strike from shadow. Both defy greater empires. Both believe, with absolute certainty, that they are justified. The Maelstrom draws such figures together. Trade routes skirt its edges, like nervous prey animals. Imperial patrols dare not linger too close. Within its depths, ancient installations drift, forgotten relics of lost ages. There are rumors of hidden blackstone fortresses, of demon worlds flickering in and out of existence, of treasures beyond imagining. Power gravitates toward the storm, and where power gathers, so too does conflict. For Huron, the Maelstrom is dominion. Every raid launched from its heart strengthens his legend. Every Imperial convoy burned is proof that the Imperium is neither invincible nor eternal. He does not merely survive in the storm he rules it. His flagship cuts through void currents, like a predator through tall grass. His warriors, clad in crimson and black, bear the scars of countless betrayals. To them, loyalty is not given lightly. It is bought with strength. For Yrel, the Maelstrom is something else entirely. A threat. Warp storms disrupt the delicate skeins of fate the Eldari so carefully read. Chaos corrupts the paths of prophecy. The Red Corsairs' growing power risks, destabilizing regions vital to Eldari's survival. And beyond strategy lies pride. The title of Corsair is not one Yrel wears lightly. It is part of his identity. To see a human renegade style himself, Pirate King within contested space, is an affront layered atop necessity. When their fleets inevitably clash, it will not be random. It will not be accidental. It will be the collision of two philosophies forged in fire. But looming above both is a shadow older and far more relentless. The Imperium is not blind to the Maelstrom's festering corruption, though beset on all sides by Tyranids. By the endless tides of chaos spilling from the great rift, it remembers Badab. It remembers Huron's defiance, and at its helm now stands a being unlike any other in this age. Roboute Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines, resurrected son of the Emperor. Guilliman is not merely a warrior. He is a statesman, a strategist, a reformer, struggling to hold together an empire rotting from within. He has launched the Indomitus Crusade, unleashing Primaris Space Marines across the galaxy to reinforce crumbling fronts. He has rewritten Doctrine. He has challenged stagnation, yet even he understands that certain threats cannot be ignored indefinitely. The Maelstrom is one such threat. Huron represents more than piracy. He represents ideological infection, the idea that a Space Marine chapter can succeed, can thrive outside Imperial control, can build strength beyond the Codex, and survive. That idea is poison. If left unchecked, it spreads. And Guilliman has spent 10,000 years watching poison consume his father's dream. So the question is no longer whether conflict will come. It is when. How long before an Indomitus fleet turns its burning gaze toward the mill? How long before Primaris reinforcements test themselves against the Red Corsairs' hardened veterans? How long before Yrel's foresee a convergence so catastrophic that even the threads of fate tremble? The galaxy of Warhammer 40,000 does not move toward peace. It spirals toward escalation. Every victory breeds retaliation. Every survival demands sacrifice. The Maelstrom churns not only with warp energy, but with inevitability. In this cradle of nightmares, ambition was born. In this Torbellino, identities were and as Huron tightens his grip upon his stolen empire, as Yrel sharpens the edge of his cursed spear, and as Guilliman calculates the cost of reclamation, the storm grows louder. At the ragged edge of the Imperium, where reality itself is torn open, there exists a wound in space known as the Maelstrom. It is not merely a warp storm. It is a scar left by cosmic violence, devouring fleets and twisting time. Within its churning madness lies the Badab sector, a region that once stood proud beneath the Aquila of the Imperium of Man. But pride, in the galaxy of Warhammer 40,000, is the first step toward damnation. Long before the Maelstrom became a pirate kingdom, it was a responsibility, a burden placed upon a chapter. That chapter was the Astral Claws, tasked with guarding one of the most unstable regions of Imperial space. Their master was a warrior of brilliance and iron will, loved Huron. Huron was not born a monster. He was forged through gene seed, indoctrination, and relentless war. He believed in order, in strength, and that weakness invited annihilation. The Badab sector was vulnerable, isolated, constantly threatened by Xenos, heretics, and the warp. Reinforcements from Terra were slow, resources were stretched thin. Bureaucrats dictated policy from afar, so Huron made a decision. If the Imperium would not protect the Badab sector properly, he would. At first, his defiance was subtle. He withheld gene seed tides and expanded recruitment. Beyond the Codex, that sacred tome penned by Primarch Roboute Guilliman 10,000 years earlier, he fortified worlds and consolidated power. To his supporters, he was a savior, a guardian who understood survival required strength. Unshackled by distant dogma, but to Terag, he was something else. He was a threat. The Imperium does not tolerate deviation. It demands obedience. When Huron's refusal hardened into open defiance, the spark became an inferno. The Bab War. A conflict not against alien horrors, but brother against brother. Space Marines turned their bolters upon fellow Astartes. Oaths shattered. Chapters chose sides. Warriors created to defend humanity now drowned sectors in their own blood. The tragedy of the Badab War was its familiarity. This had happened before, during the Horus Heresy. Ambition and mistrust had nearly destroyed the Imperium entirely. The echoes of that ancient betrayal reverberated. Huron did not name himself War Master, but rebellion, once embraced, has gravity. It pulls, it corrupts, it isolates. The Imperium responded with overwhelming force. Loyalist chapters descended upon the sector in righteous fury. Siege followed siege. World followed world in flames. And at the heart of it all stood Huron, defiant. In the end, he was not slain. He was broken, his body shattered, his empire collapsing. Huron was dragged from the ruins of his ambitions. They fled into the Maelstrom itself, the very storm they had once sworn to contain. There, something changed. The Maelstrom does not simply hide fugitives, it transforms them. Warp energies seep into metal and marrow. Time fractures, reality bends. Huron, died. What emerged was Huron Blackheart, Tyrant of the Red Corsairs. The Red Corsairs were a gathering of the bitter, the renegade, the disillusioned. Space Marines who had lost faith. Huron offered them purpose, vengeance, and freedom from Guilliman's codex. And in the lawless dark of the Maelstrom, that was enough. Yet the Maelstrom is not an empty kingdom. It is a crossroads of predators. Among them are the Aeldari, an ancient species whose empire once spanned the stars. Their fall birthed a chaos god. Their arrogance shattered reality. Now they drift upon craft worlds, vast starfaring sanctuaries carrying the remnants of a dying civilization. One such craft world is Ian, and from Iandon rose a figure as proud and unyielding as Huron Prince. Yrel's story is not one of simple heroism. He was once exiled, his strategies deemed reckless. Like Huron, he turned to the life of a corsair, commanding swift raids along the galaxy's fringes. He tasted independence. He carved his legend in void battles and lightning strikes. Where Imperial admirals relied on mass, Yrel relied on precision and speed. He struck like a scalpel. But fate is rarely content to let legends drift. When Hive Fleet Kraken descended upon Iandon, bringing the apocalyptic hunger of the Tyranids, the craft world faced extinction, desperation, forced reconciliation. Yrel returned, not as an exile, but as a savior. In the crucible of that invasion, he took up the Spear of Twilight, an ancient weapon bound with a terrible curse. It granted him the power to slay monstrosities, but each life it claimed fed something unseen, something waiting. Victory came at a cost. Iandon survived, but barely. Its holes echoed with the silence of the dead. And Yrel, once more a hero, bore a weapon that whispered of inevitable doom. Now consider this. On one side, Huron Blackheart, master of a pirate empire, sustained by hatred and ambition. On the other, Prince Yrel Cursed, champion of a fading race, driven by duty and the desperate need for survival. Both command fleets that strike from shadow. Both defy greater empires. Both believe they are justified. The Maelstrom draws such figures together. Trade routes skirt its edges like nervous prey. Imperial patrols dare not linger too close. Within its depths, ancient installations drift. Forgotten relics of lost ages. Rumors of hidden blackstone fortresses. Of demon worlds flickering in and out of existence. Of treasures beyond imagining. Power gravitates toward the storm, and where power gathers, so too does conflict. For Huron, the Maelstrom is dominion. Every raid strengthens his legend. Every Imperial convoy burned is proof that the Imperium is neither invincible nor eternal. He does not merely survive in the storm, he rules it. His warriors, clad in crimson and black, bear the scars of countless betrayals. Loyalty is bought with strength. For Yrel, the Maelstrom is something else entirely. It is a threat. Warp storms disrupt the delicate skeins of fate the Aeldari so carefully read. Chaos corrupts prophecy. The Red Corsair's growing power risks, destabilizing regions vital to Aeldari's survival. And beyond strategy lies pride. To see a human renegade style himself, Pirate King within contested space, is an affront. When their fleets inevitably clash, it will not be random. It will be the collision of two philosophies forged in fire. But looming above both is a shadow older and far more relentless. The Imperium is not blind to the Maelstrom's festering corruption. It remembers Badab. It remembers Huron's defiance. And at its helm now stands a being unlike any other in this age. Roboute Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines, resurrected son of the Emperor. Guilliman is a statesman, a strategist, a reformer struggling to hold together an empire. He has launched the Indomitus Crusade, unleashing Primaris Space Marines across the galaxy to reinforce crumbling fronts. He has rewritten doctrine. He has challenged stagnation. Yet even he understands that certain threats cannot be ignored. The Maelstrom is one such threat. Huron represents more than piracy. He represents ideological infection. The idea that a Space Marine chapter can secede, can thrive outside Imperial control. That idea is poison. If left unchecked, it spreads. And Guilliman has spent 10,000 years watching poison consume his father's dream. So the question is no longer whether conflict will come. It is when. How long before an indomitous fleet turns its burning gaze toward the Maelstrom? How long before Primaris reinforcements test themselves against the Red Corsair's hardened veterans? How long before Yrel's Farseers foresee a convergence so catastrophic that even the threads of fate tremble? The galaxy of Warhammer 40,000 does not move toward peace. It spirals toward escalation. Every victory breeds retaliation. Every survival demands sacrifice. The Maelstrom churns with inevitability. In this cradle of nightmares, ambition was born. In this Maelstrom, identities were and as Huron tightens his grip, as Yrel sharpens his cursed spear, and as Guilliman calculates the cost, the storm grows louder.